Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today I have some Hot Lady 9.8 comics to buy, plus some bonus picks, so altogether there's about 11 9.8s to discuss on the video today. So the first one is a DC vs. Vampires number 2 in a 9.8. I want to talk about the Warren Louw cover on this one though, a really sexy Supergirl cover. It's this one's the East Side Comics edition. But certainly, you know, if you've ever been kind of into like gothic girls or something like that, I feel like this one's got to be like right at the top of your list. Just a really sexy Warren Louw cover. And he's got quite a few of these. Yeah, Warren Louw, there's a few other books we'll go through of his on the list. This one's pretty much a brand new comic book, just coming out in the last, or earlier this year, I believe it is. 18 9.8s in a blue label. And 100% of them that are sent to CGC in the blue labels are 9.8 so far. So there's 18 of them out there. I saw one. This one sell for $159.99 in a 9.8. That is a pretty stiff price just for a brand new, like hot off the presses kind of book. Interesting right now on eBay, there are a seller has 2 up for sale. The same seller for $155. I'm pretty sure that's a best offer. Yeah, I didn't write that down actually. I'm not sure if that's a buy it now or a best offer, but I feel like with this one, absolutely one to want, certainly if you're a gothic guy and you're into these hot lady covers. But $159.99 I would say is a little bit stiff on this one. Brand new comic book, you wait 3 to 6 months, maybe you get this one a little closer to 100 in an auction. Maybe up to like in that sort of 100 to 125 range. I would say if you really like this one, I think this one in a 9.8 with the kind of virgin variant. There's another one that has the trade dress, but I really just like the clean eye appeal of the virgin variant, the minimal variant. It's the East Side Comics edition, the minimal variant for DC vs. Vampires number 2 with that hot Warren Louw Supergirl cover. Yeah, that's just one that has caught my eye recently for sure. Okay, next one's pretty much getting into like being a modern classic cover, I think. It's a Batgirl 23 with the Joshua Middleton Batgirl cover. Yeah, I don't like Batgirl is just looking as cute as ever, I think, on this cover. And certainly if you're ever like into redheads or something like that, I feel like this cover is absolutely one to target for sure. And you know, saying it's a modern classic, it's so popular. There's 833 9.8s in a blue label. That's a lot for, you know, a book that's not a key issue, admittedly. Everyone's just chasing this cover for sure. 84.2% is the 9.8 ratio. So some recent prices for Batgirl 23 in a 9.8 white pages, $210. $230 and $249. So I think, you know, you get lucky, you wait for a stealthy auction a little bit closer to 200, and if you want this one and it's just looking great, I think even paying up to $250, probably worth it on this one. I feel like it's a really popular one, and I think, you know, I remember these about a year or two ago being about $150 to $175, so now they're kind of, you know, $200 to $250. I just think this one will probably slow and steadily rise in price because I think it's just going to be a heavily collected one. And, you know, in 2 or 3 years, this one's probably about $350 instead of, you know, $200 to $250. So kind of slow and steady, but one you can absolutely enjoy, certainly, if you're really liking this Batgirl 23 cover. Next one's a bit of a newer one as well that's caught my eye in the last 6 or so months. It's a Harley Quinn number 1, another Warren Louw cover. Harley Quinn just looking super sexy on this one. It's the Black Flag Comics edition A, this one. I like the virgin variant on this one. It's a little bit of a closer up shot of Harley Quinn. They have the one with the trade dress, which is a little bit less money, but I like this virgin edition a lot with the close up. 118 9.8s in a blue label. 96.7% is a 9.8 ratio. And I think, yeah, for this one, Warren Louw, he's really good. Like if you're a boob guy, his covers are just one to chase. And there's another one in the honorable mentions that's kind of the original boob guy cover, I think. But Harley Quinn number 1, pretty much a brand new comic coming out, I think about mid last year, is just, Warren Louw just nailed it on this one. So I saw one of these sell for $126.99 in an auction. And when this one initially came out, it kind of caught my eye then, admittedly, and there were a few that it kind of went right around $150 when this one really was hot and the first 9.8s kind of popped up. But I think with this one, you know, $126.99 is kind of a price to aim for. I noticed as well right now, I think there's 1 or 2 on eBay right now in an auction. So, you know, I would probably try to get it around that $126.99. This could be one that maybe in the next 3 to 6 months or so it cools down even a little bit more and you get it closer to $100. But I don't know, maybe the eye appeal is just so good on this one, it could become a bit of like the Batgirl 23, because for a brand new book, there's already 118 in a 9.8. And then plus there's like the trade dress version of this one, so if you combine them both, there's already quite a bit in the 9.8. So there's some fans for this one, right around 125, let's call it, for that Harley Quinn #1, the Black Flag Comics Edition #A. That's just one to consider if you're into these hot lady covers. Next one is one I'm on the market for. I want this one. It's a Supergirl 26, the Stanley Artgerm Louw cover on this one. I believe it's like the variant edition or variant cover on the census. But yeah, I have 2 kitties, and one is more likely to be on camera. None of them are today, but the other one's kind of camera shy, and he looks just like this kitty in this Supergirl 26 cover. And even the Supergirl's kind of looks a little bit like my girlfriend as well. So that's kind of the reason why I want this one. But even if not, you know, if you're just a big Supergirl fan, this is one to target for sure. 85 9.8s in the blue label, 73.3% the 9.8 ratio. And I saw one of these sell in a blue label for $90. That's the price target I'm going to aim for. I'm going to try to get this one under $100. You know, in the next hopefully 6 to 12 months. No rush on really any of these, to be honest. I did notice for this Supergirl 26, kind of tempting. It's a buy it now or best offer, a 9.8 signed by Artgerm on eBay right now. So if you're like really serious about this one, that signed Artgerm copy is a great book for this Supergirl 26. And I think it's like $199 or best offer possibly. But in the blue label, I'm going to be aiming kind of right around that $90 range on a Supergirl 26. Okay, last one of the main ones, and then I'll get into a couple kind of quick fire bonus ones. But sort of the obvious one, I think, a Spider-Gwen Ghost-Spider #1, the Lee variant cover. Yeah, this is just a really hot cover. And kind of, you know, initially it's like, oh, a bit of a plain Jane one, but when you look at it, like, what is it, Jee Hyung Lee? He just got all the curves 100% right on this one. And definitely, it helps it a little that it's the 1 for 100 variant, so it's the rare variant. But this one is so heavily collected now. This is probably the modern hot lady 9.8 comic to buy. Basically, we'll get into prices in a moment. 185 9.8s in a blue label, so a 1 of 185, 73.7% the 9.8 ratio, and a recent 9.8 had sold for $2,025. That's pretty phenomenal, given that the Edge of Spider-Verse 2 in a 9.8, I'm pretty sure is like 1,800 or so right now. So this is going for more than the first appearance of Spider-Gwen. It's a 1 of 185. The first appearance of Spider-Gwen has like 3,000 copies in the 9.8. So this is just a really, like, this is maybe kind of the second Spider-Gwen book to get, almost. Certainly $2,025 in a 9.8. So, you know, if you really want this one, maybe aim a little bit under 2,000, but it is just one of those really wanted variants, and super amazing eye appeal. I agree, it's a great cover. Okay, so those are the top 5. A couple bonus picks here, or I've got about 6 of them. I really like this. It's a SpiderGwen #9 in a 9.8. This is the ComicXposure edition. A really great, like, kind of a tushy Spider-Gwen, I would say. Yeah, she's just looking really cute and hot on this one. And this one's pretty under the radar, too. I think right around $100 for this one, maybe even a little bit less if you kind of get it in a stealthy auction. So, J. Scott Campbell cover, too. So if you're a J. Scott Campbell fan, this is probably one to think about. Next one is a Jee Hyung Lee cover, another one. X-Men #2. This one is from 2020. It's the Lee Virgin edition, with Psylocke just looking pretty similar to kind of the Ghost-Spider cover, just looking really hot, and great curves. And kind of maybe if you're like more of a brunette guy, this one is really hot. I think she's got a really sexy look to her. So an X-Men #2, the Lee Virgin edition in a 9.8. That one's from 2020. Another Psylocke one, Uncanny X-Men #1. I like this, a Campbell variant D, where it's a kind of a tushy Psylocke cover on this one too. So a couple Psylocke ones to consider. Next one is kind of the original Warren Louw cover that I think kind of sort of put him on the map. Power Girl 27. It's the last issue of Power Girl. And this is the one where, like, if you're a boob guy, you go after this one. There's quite a few collectors that I know that have this one. And it's a pretty tough 9.8 as well. This got a lower 9.8 ratio. I think it's about 300 and something now. Yeah, Power Girl 27, very heavily collected. And yeah, definitely one of the kind of hot lady covers to target if you're really into this kind of collecting niche. I talked about this one recently, Guardians of the Galaxy #1, the Virgin Edition, in the Comic Mint Virgin Edition it's called, with really, like, probably one of the cutest. Like, this one and the Batgirl 23, I feel are like the cutest covers that I know of in modern comics. Shannon Mayer on the cover art on this Guardians of the Galaxy #1, with Gamora looking as cute as she ever has, I think. Okay, and last one too, an Amazing Spider-Man 607. Just kind of the classic J. Scott Campbell Black Cat cover that I think is super collectible. Definitely if you're a J. Scott Campbell fan, just, you know, kind of great to get any kind of Amazing Spider-Man key issue. But yeah, this is definitely one of those classic J. Scott Campbell covers to collect. And one to want, certainly if you're a Black Cat fan. I think for me, my thinking was like, awesome, Black Cat's the best, but in the 9.8, that one's really expensive. It's like, you know, $4,000 now. So this was kind of an in-between road for me to kind of get a great Black Cat collector item. A really good Black Cat secondary key, I would say. Okay, so I'll have a list of all the comics in the description below. I'll even put the bonus list if you want to have a quick look at these hot lady covers. But definitely collecting these really hot lady covers is a huge niche in collecting. There's definitely, I haven't quite dipped my toes in yet. I don't really have too many of these. I've eyeballed them, I've wanted them, and, you know, sometime down the line, I think it might make sense for me to add quite a few of these, because yeah, they're like a pretty decent price, and I feel like myself with my collection, I kind of have most of the big key issues in the 9.8 that I want. So this might make sense for me, you know, moving forward to really dive into some of these hot lady covers in a 9.8. All right, team. Hopefully you got some ideas. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.